On the night of April 2nd, 2009, I'm 19 years old in Iraq and I'm staring at 5 people's heat signatures on a screen. The Apache gunship is hovering overhead, just waiting to go weapons free on the targets. Today, I want to share with you a personal story about a night that taught me how the 6 steps of the kill chain operates and how it's evolving today. I was just 2 months into my deployment when it happened. That night started like a lot of others. My squad, Fort Squad, Spare Parts, had just finished doing our rotation of patrols out in the village, so we're now on base security for the night. It's kind of a boring detail. It's my turn to run the Eagle Eye surveillance station for around 8 hours, but it feels like 14 hours. The Eagle Eye is cramped Connex box. Inside of it is this joystick and a small TV. Looks like it's straight out of 1983 technology. But in front of me is a black and white thermal feed that's tied to a camera, a FLIR camera that's sitting on top of a tower over 100 feet high up in the air. It was creepy how good this thing was. It had incredible level of detail. It was like science fiction to me in 2009. I could see someone fart from 2 clicks away. It's my job to scan the highway. Main supply route Tampa runs all the way north and south in Iraq, and I'm looking for enemies, because their favorite thing to do in the middle of the night is to run out, quickly dig a hole in the middle of the road, put a bomb into it, and then cover it with dirt, and then lay an ambush. Their goal is to blow up American logistics convoys, trucks that run through here each night. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, pretty much. And that's a lot of responsibility for me at 19 years old, because just a few months prior, I was sitting in a college classroom, getting high as trying to get laid, and now I'm sitting in 125-degree heat surrounded by 40 dudes. I'm thinking to myself, where did I go wrong? Every so often when we spot these enemy, we launch a quick reaction force to try to get them. But surprisingly, that actually wouldn't be where the deadly engagement would happen tonight. All the animation work in this video is sponsored by Jocko Fuel. When I was just 19 years old, I was filling my Camelback with sugary, over-caffeinated energy drinks that were filled with garbage fuel. Obviously, that gave me a nasty crash, but today I'm a lot less stupid and way more careful about what I put in my body. That's why I drink Go, because it's like a clean cup of coffee with clarity built right into it. It has no artificial ingredients, no hidden fillers. It's actually made for high performers. When former Navy SEAL Commander Jocko Willink created Go, he didn't just slap his name on it. He built it because he was sick of watching people rely on junk energy. That's why Go is filled with nootropic blend that includes alpha GPC and L-theanine. Now, I'm no scientist, guys, but I looked those 2 terms up and they're responsible for helping boost your memory and your focus. Every batch of Go is third-party tested, so I know it's clean and trustworthy with no hidden fillers. It's specifically designed for the type of people who need clean fuel for their day. If you're interested in switching to an energy drink that actually makes you feel good, click my link in the description to get 25% off your first order, or head to jockofuel.com and use my code CAPPY25. Back to the episode. According to the actual U.S. Army field report of the engagement that night that I dug up from the over 300,000 Iraq reports from the U.S. Army that was published by WikiLeaks, an Apache helicopter starts circling over our patrol base at 22:30 hours. What you're looking at right now is the actual gun cam footage from the Apache that night. They fire off illumination flares to get a better view of some commotion happening on the ground. The first step in the kill chain is to find, which means you have to detect the presence of a potential target through intelligence, surveillance, or reconnaissance. The Apache pilot believes he's spotted guys digging and placing an IED roadside bomb near a checkpoint. My commander has to make a decision at that point, to send out a ground team to investigate or to continue observing the target from overhead. Context plays a big role here. Just 1 month earlier, another platoon in my company lost a soldier KIA to small arms fire while responding to an IED attack like this one. Staff Sergeant Mark Baum, well-respected man in the unit and father of 3. It was a major loss for the unit. And after that, my leadership had no interest in risking sending in a ground team until air support had better eyes on target. The Tactical Operations Center, or TOC, radioed into me, and a captain's voice came through the net over the radio, and I heard him say, "Eagle Eye, this is Blackfoot 1. Check the road 400 meters southwest. How copy, over?" The TOC is located just a few meters away at the police station on our outpost. That's who I'm talking to at this point. That's what serves as the brains of our operation, where the intel guys and officers are at. Our outpost, JSS Mushada, is tiny with enough room for like 8 strikers, 2 platoons of Americans, and some Iraqi police, our partners that worked alongside us. So there I am scanning the thermal camera across mostly farmlands and small towns. It's about 15 clicks north of the capital of Baghdad. It looked empty to me. I couldn't see anyone out there. I thought maybe leadership was just checking up on me in my post to see if I was asleep, because it's a crime, it's an offense to be sleeping on post. So I pick up the radio and I say, "Roger that, checking now, over." I continue scanning over the camera, looking for anything out of the ordinary, and I'm surprised when I spot 5 heat signatures of men with AK-47s darting around on the screen, taking up kneeling positions, pulling security, and it looks like they're laying in the prone. Usually these shifts are boring as most of you know, and nothing ever happens as it goes, so my heart rate ticks up. That's where the Sons of Iraq militia checkpoint is supposed to be at. Now, who are the Sons of Iraq? What is that militia? Here's the deal. The grand strategy in 2009 had switched from bullets to hearts and minds. We're supposed to be winding down and handing over responsibility of security to the Iraqi people, at least according to leadership, that would let us leave the country. It's what you would call the quiet phase of the war. The surge is winding down, troop levels are decreasing, they're letting prisoners out of jail. All of our patrols and raids that we conducted are done in direct partnership with Iraqi police and army. We weren't storming Fallujah, we're busy trying our best to not make things worse. The only way the plan would work for this kind of handoff of the security situation was by creating what was called the Sons of Iraq militia. It's a US funded program that recruits local tribal fighters and pays them $300 a month to provide security for their own towns and take responsibility for their own security instead of attacking coalition forces. But the part is, many of these guys are former insurgents. Just a few weeks prior, they've been trying to kill Americans. This little-known initiative is massive. At its peak, there are just under 100,000 of this faction of militia fighters throughout the country, costing the United States government $30 million a month. It's a big investment, and you can see this Government Accountability Office investigation that I found about the Sons of Iraq shows that they were lousy with corruption, and many of them were double agents working for Al-Qaeda and their Iranian proxies. However, on the other hand, it also notes that the program's partly responsible for lowering violence by 70% inside Iraq. All of this is to say there is a hodgepodge of different factions on the battlefield that I need to be looking out for. I could make it out that these guys, these heat signatures, were digging in the road, darting around and laying wire, and then covering something in the ground. It wouldn't be the first time that the SOI had conducted or facilitated attacks on US troops. We had found multiple IEDs out that same way in the past few weeks. The TOC asked me again over the radio saying, "What do you see? Are they digging?" I said, "Yes, it looks like they're digging." Over. That was enough. Headquarters radioed back to me, "Roger." And the second step of the kill chain at this point is to fix, which is to determine the target's exact location and 8-digit grid coordinates, identity, and their intent. This step is about confirming that the target is valid. From the US Army field report from WikiLeaks that night, the Apache watching that night overhead noted the same thing that I was observing. It says, quote, "Military-age man who appears to be placing something on road, laying wire and covering it with dirt." The Apache crew reports there's Sons of Iraq control point in vicinity of grid, but reports military-age males are not acting like Sons of Iraq established policies. What we're seeing and hearing right now is the actual gun cam footage that I found from the Apache Extreme element that night. They note that the RQ-7B Shadow drone is also watching. The Shadow flies at 15,000 feet overhead and stays above us for around 6 hours on station. And step 3 of the kill chain is to track. And that's what that drone is perfect for. It maintains continuous surveillance to monitor the target's movements and ensure it doesn't escape. However, the Apache gunship is running low on fuel. They mention in the radio reports, we hear them say they've only got 12 minutes left of fuel to get authorization to fire, so the clock is ticking.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
They got 12 minutes until they hit the reserve.
Roger, I got them now on the shadow feed. Alright, man, I got 12 minutes till my wingman's out of gas, so I need you to make a decision. I now got the guy on the east side of the road. He's digging something into the road right now. Look at him in the shadow. Roger, if you're positive that he's digging something in and laying wire, you have my identification to shoot him. Juliet Sierra, over. Roger, alright, we will be engaging.
You going to shoot gun or you going to shoot
gun? We're going 30 millimeter.
We're going 30 millimeter, so we're going to be keeping the orbit. We're going to be going head in probably around 200. Go ahead and bug out. Let me know when you're clear.
Based on sensor information from the thermal cameras, from me, the shadow drone overhead, the Apache themselves, they're given the cleared hot by the TOC that's assessing all of that information, pulling it together, and making the final call. Step 5 of the kill chain is engage. Deliver the effects on target. The Apache commences firing.
We are clear.
Roger, you are clear. We are clear hot.
All right, let's go. Rolling in, heading 150. I got the individual who's been digging in the road.
Roger.
AM was gun. And I'll be firing. Firing.
Roger.
I can't show the footage of the thermal camera from them, the gun footage, because YouTube restrictions, but if you're interested in the uncensored analysis of it, you can go to Pepperbox, the link is in the description. So it sounded to me like the sky is ripped open. From inside my Connex, the thermal screen goes totally white with impacts.
Roger.
Alright, target's destroyed. Looking for the second one. I got the individuals running now.
I open the door, I stick my head outside, and I see the sky lights up. About 400 meters away, 30mm cannon to strike down, slamming into the road like thunder.
Yeah, so I was the medic for 1st Platoon. What I do remember very vividly was hearing the 30mm from the Apache go off as we were getting close. And I remember very clearly thinking, like, you know, I hope they kill them all, because if they don't, then I'm going to have to treat them.
Step 6 of the kill chain is assess. Conduct battle damage assessment, BDA, to determine if the target was actually destroyed or if it requires a little old re-engagement. My leadership in the TOC asked me for a battle damage assessment. I look on the thermal feed, I radio back, I can't see any of the targets, I'm not sure what happened to the targets. All I see is smoke and explosions. The TOC calls up 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Squad from my platoon to respond as the quick reaction force, while 4th Squad has security for the proximity area. They are ordered to locate and detain the targets. The Army's field report from that night takes us through what happens next. I'll read it to you. The quick reaction force QRF departs from Joint Security Station Mushada to respond. After the strike, Apache reports there is still something on the road, possibly the object being planted. QRF arrives on the area, dismounts from their Striker vehicles, and moves into the target location. QRF links up with Apache crew on the ground to confirm the strike zone.
Alright, I need a hard left.
Okay,
Come back
come
around.
hard left. Stay on him.
Trying.
Roger, get a hold of Gamber Mike. Say we need QRF to come over this area right now.
Apache reports a thermal hotspot on the east side of the canal. Ground troops can't find the exact hotspot, but they locate possible signs of movement. Apache reports the targets fled towards 2 nearby houses. 1st Squad secures the bridge, then raids the home to the north of the road.
Jason Dufresne, I was a staff sergeant and squad leader for our 3rd Squad. Based on the initial input from the helicopters, they pushed to the north towards a village, thinking that was the direction that that the suspected insurgents had exfilled. As it turns out, that was not correct, because in the handoff, kind of north, south, east, west, got kind of turned upside down and from the helicopters. And
2nd Squad crosses the road and ends up in a village a few hundred meters north. So what they're doing at this point is they're trying to track and locate where the targets ran off to and tried to escape to, even after they took fire from a cannon. JSS Mushada clears the QRF to pursue.
1st Squad was basically holding down the bridge. 2nd Squad punched up to the village.
According to the field report, QRF raids the first house. Nothing is found there, aka dry hole. QRF raids the adjacent house. Again, nothing found. QRF raids a 3rd house. Still nothing.
One of the insurgents that had been engaged was kind of curled up in the fetal position on the right side of the, of the bridge there, and I didn't initially see him there, so I almost stepped right on top of him because he was right there, and I mean, he was dead. I can't remember if they hit him once or twice, but I mean, he was absolutely wasted.
When the LT asked for the helicopters to designate, like actually point with the laser designator where it was actually the compound to the south.
Then the Apache shoots an IR laser beam finally at the house that only the soldiers with night vision goggles are able to see.
Each time that they would, auto rotate, I think the gunner, who was lasing the houses, he would lose his orientation, and then he would reorient on what he thought was the house. and then he would laze a different house. And then, so I don't remember exactly how many houses we kicked in, but we were there a long time. I mean, kind of moving through this little village on the other side of the canal.
Third squad follows the beam shining down from the Apache team where they believe the targets went. Inside that house, third squad finds 2 wounded individuals. Doc Martinez packs the wounded man's leg filled with combat gauze. They're detained, and the third man is found dead on the east bank of the canal. This was the guy that I saw take the first direct hit. They found him in pieces, actually cut in half by the Apache. Nearby troops find a white van and some equipment that looked like they were attempting to exfiltrate from there. The wounded are loaded into a striker for medical evacuation, and from there the wounded are taken to court, and a full investigation finds that they were working for the insurgents and that they were put into prison. And here's where we need to talk about something important. That 6-step kill chain is evolving today to increasingly be controlled more and more by AI fire control systems. 15 years later, this kind of mission would look totally different. 15 years, holy shit, I'm old. That kill chain can be slow, prone to inaccuracy, and gives everyone only a small piece of the total puzzle. It feels like everyone is playing a game of telephone with each other, trying to share their own small, incomplete view of the battle space. Each time information is relayed, that's a point of failure possibly. After that first Apache engaged, for instance, they had to leave the station and fly back before running out of fuel. They were replaced by a different Apache, and the handoff inherently created some confusion, and that leads to possible delays and errors. Today, you'd have a loitering drone overhead, no pilot to be risked to friendly lives. The same operator would be streaming real-time HD video back to everyone, the commander, the intel guys, the analysts, the troops on the ground. So instead of relaying information up and down the chain, everyone's seeing the same picture, a shared battlefield view. You know exactly who's where. You wouldn't need to wait for a TOC to relay a message to an Apache pilot for strike approval. In modern kill webs, sensors and shooters talk directly to each other. The drone watching the road can cue another drone to fire. You've collapsed that decision loop from minutes to seconds, and those troops on the ground doing the raids would have less likelihood of running into the wrong house. But here's the terrifying part. With AI target recognition, some of those decisions would be made instantly by machines, moving increasingly towards having no human in the loop. And I'm not sure we're ready for that. Hopefully we decide to keep people in the loop of the kill chain. Someone needs to be accountable. Someone needs to make the call for targeting another human being's life and taking a life, even if it means making the kill chain a little bit slower in that process. I want to thank my old teammates, Dufresne and Doc Martinez, both of whom recently retired from the Army. Congratulations. It was really kind of them to catch up with me and go through some old memories. It's always nice to look back together, and I hadn't spoken with them in a long time. I'm just really glad to see that they're doing so well. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll love the last one we did on the Marines' new missile dropship. Link in the description.